What it do, golf fans? Welcome back to the Turn Darks Golf Podcast. This is Liam. Alongside me is Jack. Jack, we had an off week in golf, actually. So I guess 2 weeks ago, Zozo Championship, Nacho Echeverria or Nico Echeverria, because he doesn't want to be called Nacho now, even though he was when he first came out on. What?
Baby.
I know. I love the name Nacho, personally. But we were in the Zozo. We were in Tokyo. What'd you overall think of the week?
Thought some of the guys that I wanted played like trash, and I'm okay saying it. Overall, it's a fine week. Zozo is always an interesting one because you are a degenerate like me, and you either watch like the full tournament in the background, but it wasn't like it's for me. Zozo is not a tournament that. It sounds terrible as a golf lover. It sounds terrible to say, but like there could be 6 guys within one shot on Sunday, and I just don't feel like it draws like that same pressure or same care as like a Wyndham. It's like it's not a staple.
How much of that is because it's based in Japan and like the normal everyday person that's not, 24/7 golf like you doesn't pay as much attention due to the time change? Not you specifically, because I understand you're going to watch it regardless.
Again, I think this comes down a little bit to the elevated events. I've always talked about that being a positive and a negative in a lot of regards, but used to have, and granted, I know he played, but like Hideki Matsuyama would have been like the 8th guy in that field like 2 years ago. And This year he was number 3.
Maybe 4. 3 or 4. It was close.
And I just feel like it didn't have it, and I have never felt that way. And this will tell you exactly how I feel. Even when Tiger won that, it still didn't have that je ne sais quoi of a real event. And Zozo, if you're watching this, because clearly you are, sponsor us and we'll love you. But I just, for whatever reason, that tournament, it never irks my competitiveness.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's kind of placed between like the World Series as well, or right around the World Series time usually, plus NFL football, plus beginning of the basketball season. It just has a lot of other sports to contend with, which causes a lot of challenges. I'm going to highlight, again, Nico Echeverria won. Justin Thomas was another big name who finished T2, because again, this was 2 weeks ago, so maybe if you forgot already. Ricky Fowler was 4th. Kitayama was 5th. And then the likes of like Eric Cole and JJ Spawn were both T6, along with Siwoo Kim. So there was, some
shaking that ass.
Yeah. So there were some decently big names on the leaderboard, but none that were considered the top 4, which definitely makes it interesting. So bear that in mind as we go through this. Again, because there was not a cut and there was only 80 guys or 78 guys, there's nobody notable that we picked to miss the cut. Some of the best low price plays that we were all over last week. CT Pan was T6. We called him out. That was crazy. That was a great call. Ricky Fowler, who finished 4th. And then Jack trash talked me and said it was a bad play, but Yuta Segura finished T6. He was the top Japanese.
We established you were talking about a different guy.
We established I still liked Yuta. I just mixed up the number with him and somebody else based on the finishes. So I still liked Yuta. I just mixed up and put the wrong finishing position in there on, I think, 2 of the events that he was on, because I was on the wrong guy. So hopefully you took Yuta and you didn't take Satoshi Kodaira, because tough. Couple of the misses. I was pretty high on Morikawa and Xander. Morikawa finished T54. Xander finished about T40. I have that written down.
41.
T41. There you go. Right next to Will Zalatoris. So those were my misses. Jack had a miss of his own this week, and I'm sure he's going to go over it when he goes over all of his bets and stuff like that. So how did your lineups do? Do you know at this point, or was that too many weeks ago?
Honestly, dude, I feel like I've blacked out for the last 6 weeks of my life, and that not alcohol wise, everybody, don't panic. I just feel like this whole year has gone by so quickly, and I just have not had a point to sit down. It's disgusting. So give me 3 minutes to pull up DraftKings, and I can tell you.
Yeah, Jack did start a new JOB kind of this past, last couple months. So he's now big boss. He's got to make all these important decisions and shit. So he's got not enough time now for golf anymore. No, I'm just messing. He still does. I'm gonna go through mine while Jack pulls them up to give him a minute. My DraftKings lineup did not hit. I had Xander Schauffele T41, Kurt Kitayama 5th, Beau Hossler T56, Ryan Fox T65, Ben Coles T56, and Satoshi Kodaiver, who finished 64th. Should have been Yuta. But it happens. Do you have your DraftKings up yet, Jack? You want to go right into FanDuel?
Yeah, I had actually, wow, I did really good. I had Justin Thomas, I had Ricky Fowler, I had Kurt Kitayama, JJ Spawn. Holy crap, look at the kid go. I'm on fire.
There you go. And then Jack, don't even bother with FanDuel. I'm sure it was identical to your DraftKings, so you probably won't.
Them, so.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not worried. With mine, I had Xander T41, Colin T54, Maverick McNeely withdrew. It was a soft withdrawal. I'm not worried about it going forward. He's already back in the field this week. He'll be fine. Ryo Hitsasune T46, Ben Coles T56, SH Kim T46. So not my best week on the DFS side. But Jack did quite well, so hopefully you followed all his. How'd your bets do last week or 2 weeks ago?
I don't know what the heck is going on. I have previously claimed, and I still hold true, that I believe I'm the best golf bettor in the world. And this 2024 calendar has been proven that some guy who has barely scratched positive for most weeks is kicking my ass. And I'm so confused. Because I feel so confident about all of my bets. And then I look at the stats every single week and I go, that's a lot of red. Beau Hossler, top 20 round one, plus 265, smacked with ease. Mm-hmm. Ricky Fowler, top 20 in round one, missed by a shot. Great job. Some of the Japanese guys I was really high on decided to, I don't know what happened. Must have got food poisoning or something because they just really crapped the bed. They did have Kurt Kitayama top 30 and Harry Hall being the top Brit. So 3 for like 7 minus 1.28 units. I'm now down 3.5-ish units on the year, which is vile.
Yeah, Jack's going through it right now. I can't give him too much grief because quite literally I was the same thing 12 months ago. And Jack is a lot more likely than me to turn it around all in a matter of a week. On my bets, I went 2 for 5. I had Ryo Hitsasune top 30. That was a loss because, again, he finished T46. I had Rico Hoey over Taylor Moore. I think Taylor Moore finished like T6 at the end of the day, so that was tough. Xander Schauffele, top 20 round one. You think he shot like an even par that day and didn't stand a chance. And then my wins were Harry Hall over Seamus Power and David Skins at plus 125, and Ricky Fowler, top 30 at minus 110. Overall, I lost 0.84 units on the week. We don't love losing units, but again, it was less than a full unit. So for the year, I'm up 4.43 units still. So we're hanging in there. We're getting through it. But again, not my best week, all things considered, on that front. Jack, how'd your winners do?
Honestly, I want to take a moment to address Sahith Theegala. Mr. Sahith, Mr. Theegala, I hereby declare that is one of the worst performances I have ever seen from the caliber of your player. And you barely lost to Colin Morikawa and barely lost to Xander Schauffele. And if you judge it by that scale, I guess good for you. From the courses that you have dominated so far in this year to now, you should be ashamed of yourself. Probably there's a snake in here.
Bear in mind that you're good, Jack. No worries. Bear in mind that when I was saying earlier that Jack was going to comment on one of his misses, that miss was in fact Sahith Theegala, who again finished T56. Jack's winners, not his best week. So, Sahith Theegala, T56, Max Homa, T27. Not the worst performance out of Homa.
It is.
I mean, T27, you're not like infuriated about though. You want more out of him, but like that's the equivalent of like a T40 finish on like a normal field, I feel like, which again, you don't love, but like you'd rather have a T40 finish than like a total miscut.
I guess.
I know Jack always wants like top 10 finishes, but it's okay. Don't worry, I carried on winners picks this past week. I had Kurt Kitayama, who finished 5th, and Ricky Fowler, who finished 4th. So if only I had all of my bets based around those two guys, I would have won a lot of money. Your wild card, did it hit?
Heck no, Will Zalatoris did not finish top 10 in round 1. Put that as a bottom 10 round 1. That needs to be odds.
There you go. I had Ryo Hitsune top 20 at plus 210. That was also a loss. So with that, let's get out of Japan. We are going back over to the, I'm going to say North America, because technically we're not in the States. I need to remember that. I almost just said back to the States, but that's not true. We are going to the Worldwide Technology Championship. This is played at El Cardenal. It's a relatively new course for all these golfers. This is only the second year they're playing this event here.
Who's it designed by?
Let me get through my notes. Gosh. Just know that course metrics won't really work here since we only have 1 year's worth of data. This course was built by Jack's daddy, aka Tiger, after they stopped using El Chameleon due to it being a Greg Norman design, and that was the whole like LIV versus PGA. That's about as much detail as we need to get into that, considering there are, I guess, potentially close on discussion.
It's such a dumb thing. Let me just break down real quick in 30 seconds. This is the stupidest agreement I've ever seen. It's basically, for anybody that's just living under a rock because they're not talking about it, basically the two entities are just going to coexist, and the PGA Tour is just going to profit share and revenue share, and like they can go over if they want to, but they're not going to. It's literally just like an equity share. It's disgusting. It's the dumbest thing ever. Golf fans do not benefit from this because I'm going to be honest, Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka are not going to go play the frickin' Shriners. I'm just letting you know now. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's going to help for all the middle tier golfers on the tour that want to play like different events and give them options to play, LIV and PGA respectfully, but it's not really going to do quite what we'd want it to do.
No.
What?
No, it's not. They need to go make those people play the John Deere Classic so we can go watch some players in the top 50 of the OWGR.
It's very true. Hey, I mean, like at the end of the day, there were some fun guys there last year. I mean, there was like Thor Bjornsson and Neil Shipley, but it's all one.
Jason Day shoot 4 over in a course that I could do that at.
That's fair. I'll stop talking now. All right, back to the Worldwide Technology Championship. This course is a resort course, so please keep that in mind. It's different than a few of the other courses we've played. It's got really generous landing areas. There's actually 0 rough throughout the entire course. The average green size is 8,300, which is well above basically a majority of the courses on tour that are usually around 5,000 or so. And again, this is a birdie fest week. The winning score is likely to be somewhere in the realm of like 25 to 30 under par. And again, another thing to note, they're playing on paspalum grass, which is usually a coastal course type of grass. It's not very common on the PGA Tour. Like not a ton of courses have this style. It's usually going to roll a lot slower. Bear in mind that it's going to roll even slower because it's also a resort course. But it's basically they do it because it's more durable than Bermuda. And when the salt from the ocean like gets on the land, the paspalum grass isn't going to just instantly die the moment it gets just like an ounce of salt. So that's why they do it versus like a Bermuda. Not to get too technical on you there, but there's your grass overview.
Oh, grass. We were speaking of grass. We had just met one of our buddies' girlfriends, and I had the opportunity to educate the entire group for like a half hour on the different types of grass and how it affects the golf ball.
I thought you were going to talk about the grass at Dubsdread that we played.
Dubs, if you want to know that, it was really sandy. They actually chopped up and seeded the fairway, and even the greens, it was just disgusting. I hate the fact that I played that bad. That was the worst round I've had in 31 months, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, not Jack's best round of all time.
Over, ladies and gentlemen, 4 freaking over.
Yeah, Jack shot 4 over. I am not that good, but I actually was quite okay with how I played there.
You played really good.
Yeah, I shot 91, made a birdie, couple pars, I think 2 triples. That was a killer. So welcome to my golf game.
Now I'm stressed again. Now I'm mad again. I'm thinking about this.
All right. Just to highlight, here's some top golfers on paspalum versus other grasses. So again, these are guys that really suck on non-paspalum courses, but are really good on paspalum courses. Number 1, Brandon Wu. Number 2, Ryan Brem. Number 3, Chad Ramey. Number 4, Rafael Campos. Number 5, Tom Wilkinson. 6, Martin Trainer. 7, Alex Smalley. 8, S.H. Kim. 9, Jack's least favorite buddy of all time, Nate Lashley.
Don't even mention his name.
What should I call him in the future? Just like
Scum.
Okay, all right. Jack's least favorite golfer is what I'll refer to it as. And then number 10, Cam Champ. So that is I started saying Champ Cam, and I was like, that's not how you pronounce his name at all. So
I thought you were about to say Chan Kim, and I was like, where did we get Cam from?
No. I was about to say Champ Cam, and I was like, that is just not how you say his name at all. So keep that in mind that, again, it's just a different grass type. And I will highlight some of the guys that stand out as well. All right, are we just doing those top 2 guys real quick? Grazerman, Cam Young, 10,400, 10,200?
Yeah, Grazerman's been consistent. Cam Young hasn't played. There you go. There's your breakdown for the event. Cam Young, his last 2 finishes were 43 and 61 in 2 events that had limited fields due to size. And Grazerman has played every week, and his worst finish is 33rd and has 3 runner-ups in his last 6 starts. 5 starts. So there you go. There's your comparison.
Grazerman's also gained strokes putting in each of his last 7 starts, and he's gained on approach in 5 of 7. Cam Young has lost strokes putting in 7 of 8 starts, and the one time he gained putting, he actually lost 6 strokes on approach that week. And he also lost strokes off the tee and putting here last year in his event he played last year. Doesn't really seem to like the spot all that much, and because of that, I would avoid him. Grazerman, I'm all aboard. Cool. All right. Hey, Grazerman 1, Cam Young 2, right? Just to confirm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just checking. Just making it clear. All right. 9K range we go. Ben Griffin, 9,900, all the way down to JJ Spawn at 9,000.
JJ Spawn, welcome back. He always dominates in the first half of the year. He's going to lead every bogey avoidance statistic until he gets to an actual golf course. But he has looked tremendous outside of Sanderson. And just for everybody in Sanderson, he withdrew. So don't include that in your statistics. Outside of that, if you really take a look at his last 8 tournaments, his worst finish is 34. And he had an average score of 68, which was his worst stretch of golf since the Pro Tour when it's not a scoring event. So if you really want to take a look at what pure scoring looks like over 6 weeks at $1,600, $1,400 less than the guy that is the favorite, I think this is the guy to target. I think he's just tremendous. I think he has a real good shot to finish close to the leaderboard, or at least be on the final stretch of the leaderboard come Sunday. If not, I do think this may be a return spot for Lucas Glover. I think watching him over the last 2 weeks, both third, if I remember correctly? I'm not seeing my notes. I'm seeing his scoring average of 66 and 67 over the last 2 events, which is absolutely ridiculous. And if we talk about putting, there's no conversation we can have about anybody in this field without including Lucas Glover, even though stats for certain grass types may differ. He's one of the best pure putters in the game of golf. And if his ball striking is as good as it's been the last 2 weeks, he's got to be included somewhere.
Yeah, it's funny because I have notes on both those guys as well. My notes don't go the same way. JJ Spawn, really not a long hitter off the tee. Played her last year, finished T67. That was coming in on really good form as well. He also lost strokes putting that week. He lost about 3.5 strokes with the putter.
Good.
What?
Good. Right where I want it.
He also has lost strokes putting in 3 of his last 4 starts. So he's arguably playing worse now than he did last year when he was getting into this event. I would avoid him. But if you like him, like Jack does, I don't blame you getting to him because, again, he's probably still a top 15 player in this field just based on the fact that he plays on the PGA Tour semi-consistently.
That is fair.
So if that tells you the extent of this field, that means what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to.
A lot of Korn Ferry Tour graduates usually try to play as soon as they can, even though they're members in January. So watch for that. Yes. This is where we saw Taylor, well, not this event specifically, but the next stretch of 2 months of golf, month and a half, if you really think about it, is going to be a lot of resurgence of some players that got exemptions prior to being members. And then January will be the full-fledged event schedule for the Korn Ferry people. So be on the lookout.
Yes, sir. Lucas Glover, Jack was right, back-to-back T3 finishes. Those 2 weeks he gained putting 4.5 strokes putting 1 week, and then lost 2.5 strokes the other week, but finished T3 on both of them, which is kind of funny because it means he could do it basically any way possible. He finished T59 here last year and lost strokes putting. He hasn't always played great in Cabo, so I'm a little lukewarm on him. I think I would like him over JJ Spawn. But again, he's still probably a top 15, top 20 player in this field. So keep that in mind.
I just want Victor Hovland. I know he's undergoing rehab right now, but this is the course I'd have a winner's choice for him on.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Matt Schmidt, one thing to consider with Matt, he is the third worst putter in this field on PassPalm based on at least 10 rounds played. The only golfers he beat is Carl Yuan and Luke Glover. Not a great stretch there. He's much better on basically all other types of golf courses, but for whatever reason, the guy cannot seem to put it together here. He played here last year, finished T60, so not very exciting either, or T59, sorry. I just rounded up and said T60. So again, not thrilled on Matt Schmidt. Other notable putters who are also in the bottom 10 of this putter ranking based on this price point and for PassPalm on DraftKings, Beau Hossler is 69th, Keith Mitchell is 70th, and JJ Spawn, again, is 74th, and that is out of 78 people that fit that metric. So there's a lot of really bad PassPalm putters in this range. Basically what that leaves you left is Ben Griffin, Maverick McNeely, and Harry Hall, and I like all of them this week. So whoever you are feeling amongst that group, they all play consistently on the PGA Tour. They're all relatively long off the tee, maybe not Ben Griffin as much, and they're all solid putters, which is what I'm looking for this week. So there you go. Anybody else in the 9K range you like or no?
Not necessarily. I'm not married to this field in general, and with only 1 year of history and having an event that's going to go to 25 under, you got to be good for 4 days, so it's scary.
Yeah, keep that in mind. A lot of this is still kind of learning as we go.
If Jack is not betting heavily on a golf event, you probably know not to bet heavy on yourself.
Yeah, I would agree. In the 8K range we go. Harris English at 8,900 down to Patrick Fishburne at 8,000.
Yeah, two people here that really stick out to me. One, it shouldn't, but it's Tom Hoge. He's played like absolute hot, seeping garbage the last 2 weeks, and it's absolutely disgusting. But a player of his caliber, especially with the ball striking numbers he has, should not be playing this poor. And it's weird to see, and I think this could be an event where we really see a rebound. And if you're taking a look at Tom Hoge, like in this field, just like name-wise, he could be $1,000 more expensive. And I really think they're taking the last 2 weeks and like, crap, he's not scoring. He has the ability to go deep, and I think that he'll be able to kind of capitalize it. And I also think, number two, Taylor Moore, who has been flying under the radar to start this year and has improved each and every single week that he's played. He actually just played really, really well, the scoring average of 67, 68, and 69 in his last 3 events. You have 67. You're finishing at 20 under on this event at 8,400. That's top 20.
It's making the cut.
I know. Yeah. No, I know. But those are two guys that I'm really looking forward to. I think Eric Van Rooyen, EVR, who obviously won this event last year, is actually a really scary play. Actually, in the last like 5 or 6 events, he has like some of the lowest birdie numbers of his career. He's not been playing well. So, yes, he might feel comfortable in here, and you might be a casual and look into that, and he might do great. But I haven't seen it. Eyeball test for me is big.
That's fair. Well, I'm eyeball testing Harris English here. When he's healthy, he's, in my opinion, probably the best player in this range, which, again, depending on when he's healthy is the big question mark we're getting to there. But I really don't think it's close if he is. His last 2 starts for the swing season, he has a T9 and a T6 finish. His putter has basically solved itself, and he's gained on approach in both starts as well. If he's kind of getting back into this swing of things, I'm very comfortable getting back to Harris English in a course like this where, again, it's a really weak field, all things considered. So I'd be very okay getting Harris English as a I mean, like a third option if possible. If he's your third guy, then I'm pretty ecstatic. Now again, he's 8,900. That's tough, but I do like him. You talked about EVR, Eric Van Reen. He really hasn't done much outside of his win here from last year. By the way, Eric Van Reen did win this event last year. He does quite well on weak events such as like the Rocket Mortgage and the Cognizant, where he, the Honda. I apologize. I will.
Screw you, Cognizant.
Yeah.
Unless you're watching and you're fans.
Well, yeah. So because he does bad on those bad events, it kind of means that he potentially could do so again. His big challenge is actually lost off the tee in 8 straight events coming into this week. He's lost on approach in 7 of 8. And as Jack said, he's actually got like some of the lowest birdie percentage of the last 5 to 6 weeks. So keep that in mind. We will talk about Matt Kuchar. Father Time really seems to kind of avoid him when it comes to this event. He's played here 10 times in his career and has 6 finishes in the top 20 across 3 different courses, including a T2 he had last year. Also, can't forget, this is the event with the infamous caddy incident.
I'll defend that. I will defend that to the death.
And again, I noticed that I just said the caddy incident. I didn't say whether it was the right or wrong thing.
I will break it down for everybody. So if you don't know, if you want some little golf trivia, golf snippets, Matt Kuchar's caddy, I can't remember what, it was either like illness or his like wife was giving birth or something like that.
Yeah.
And they have caddies on standby for instances like this. Matt Kuchar took a local caddy to help him out. And at this time, I want everybody to know, at this time, if you missed the cut, you made $0. And your caddy can't make 10% on $0. Now, temp caddies usually make about 7.5%, 8%, just so you guys know. It's sad, I know that. But at this point, now cut, if you finish dead last, you're still walking out with money. So at this time, you made $0. Matt Kuchar goes, no matter if I finish last place, I will give you $10,000 out of my own pocket. I think that's what people are forgetting when they think of what's going on, because $10,000, and I'm in no way, shape, or form trying to minimize this. Like in that part of the world, $10,000 US goes a lot longer than it does in America. So at that point, I want everybody like to stay with me here. Obviously, Matt Kuchar goes and laps the field and wins and makes like 1.9 million or whatever he made. Should he have?
Yeah, you probably could have at least doubled it up.
Yeah. Yes, of course. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have, but for everybody to jump on his back, like if that guy got shot in the middle of his round, like just caught a stray bullet to the leg or caught pneumonia or something like that, that guy would have made $10,000 and he carried some PGA Tour Pros bag for 4 days. Like, yeah, he made so much. Like, think about it, that's $2,500 a day to carry someone's bag. All you caddies out there would take off your middle toes to make an opportunity for that. So I will defend Matt Kuchar about that, but I do think he's the second douchiest player in the entire PGA Tour. So I will die on that hill.
Again, I just wanted to comment that was the caddy incident. So Jack, thank you for giving the detail behind that.
Patrick, still number one. Screw you, Patrick Reed, even though you have the best short game on planet Earth.
But you like him during Ryder Cup season, so like
he's Captain America. Once he's got Team USA, who cares? He's great.
Well, I thought Nate Lashley would have been number one for
Nate Lashley's just a POS. Matt Kuchar is just a terrible human. I have stories. Bryson DeChambeau used to be on that list. He's redeemed himself. He's still young. Bryson DeChambeau is not good. Patrick Reed is a scumbag. And even though he's got the softest hands in probably golf history, Ballesteros, it's a close one, but I literally would rock him, sock him right to the nards if I saw Patrick Reed.
Lovely. All right. Well, there goes any chance of getting like any of those golfers on the podcast for whatever reason.
I don't think Seve Ballesteros is coming on.
Well, no, but I'm saying you trash talk Patrick Reed, old Bryson, Nate Lashley, and Kuchar, and I'm at his phone.
Nate Lashley could pay me to be on here, and I politely send a long-worded, strongly worded email. Patrick Reed, I will happily have him because I think he's one of the best golfers on planet Earth. I know it's a hot take. We can. If you want to take this, anybody here, I'll defend that, even though I don't like the guy. And it's not like I don't like him. It's I don't like what he's done. Young Bryson DeChambeau, little story about you guys. If you want real history, if you want a real depths in the golf, Bryson DeChambeau used to be a tool, and he brought a level, like a construction level, if you guys are watching on video or know like that, to a driving range and cursed out the greenskeeper hut and all the workers out there for it not being perfectly level where he could dial in his numbers. So that is disgusting behavior, and I do not support that. I don't stand for that. But Bryson DeChambeau, you are now middle based on everything. You are awesome. But Matt Kuchar is a POS. Last story I'll have for Matt Kuchar, and then I will let everybody get back. Matt Kuchar, you are a scumbag. I hate you. He walked in to a country club. I want to say this was in Illinois. I can't remember the exact course. And this kid was like 16, first day in the job in the pro shop. Matt Kuchar walks in. Kid doesn't recognize him because you don't expect Matt Kuchar to just show up. He should have recognized him. He's like 6'8". But Matt Kuchar asks for a yardage book. Kid doesn't recognize him. He thinks it's like everybody else and asks for like $10, whatever the yardage book was. Matt Kuchar goes, "Do you know who the F I am?" And the kid goes, "No." Kuchar opens his wallet, takes out a $20 bill, crumples it up, throws it in the kid's face. That is disgusting. I think that's one of the most scummy moves I've ever heard of a professional golfer, and one guy killed his own wife. So if you it's not to that level, but it's still scummy. And I have so many tidbits of information like that. Like, that guy's a POS. A 16-year-old kid. You just scarred that kid. Oh, I will say last thing. Head pro in there went and kicked him out of the course. So I will say defended.
Now that we've entirely just trash talked way too many golfers, I'm going to talk about one more guy in the 8K range. We're instantly going down to 7K. Rico Hoey, based on the last 36 rounds, Rico Hoey ranks 6th overall in this field in strokes gained total. He's extremely strong off the tee. He has great driving distance, but really bad accuracy, which again is fine because there's no rough at a course like this. He's also gained in all statistical He has also gained in all statistical strokes gained data in each of his last 3 starts. So I love somebody like Rico Hoey this week. 7K range. Daniel Berger, 7,900, all the way down to, there's a lot of them. Is that SH, Kim?
It is. Well, I'll start off by talking about Charlie Hoffman, who I have a slight beef with because as a kid, he signed my flag with a green Sharpie instead of black like professionals do. Outside of that, I really think Neil Shipley has an opportunity to bounce back this week. This is a weird field. It is absolutely vile, the kind of field we're taking a look at for a coastal course. Neil Shipley obviously popped off on the scene, really took the world by storm, had one bad week. And everyone's like, "Oh, he's done." Now, granted, it was at the John Deere Classic where he should have shot like 42 under. But ever since then, he's played fine. Like, he's played fine. I don't know why people are jumping the gun on him. 41st at Shriners, 13th at Procure. Those are his last 2 starts. Hold on.
Yep.
Hold on.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, this kid's like our age. Like, he's not some seasoned professional. He's played like 7 professional events in his career. He has done better on the PGA Tour than he has on the Korn Ferry, and it is so weird to see. This is an event I really think he can come back from.
I think part of the reason he's overlooked is because he's not like the new flashy toy. Like, because he's been like, oh, he's going to go finish like T20, T30, T40. People aren't as like excited as that as when, like Luke Clanton, for example, is another good example where like, when you're hot on the scenes and you're finishing top 10s all the time, like people are like, oh my gosh, you're the next new like big thing. And the moment that Neil Shipley started finishing like T30s and T40s consistently, like he was still good, he was still young, but he doesn't have that same like flair as the new Luke Clantons of the world always do. So I think that's part of it.
Welcome to sports now, my friend. It's all recent bias, but
yeah,
I could go into that for another hour. One of the other guys I really like in this field is actually Austin Eckroat. Excuse me. Wyndham, he finished 6th, 18th at FedEx, and then this year he's got a pair of 46s. Now, granted, the 2 events that he played, I don't think he putt as well as he should have, but he definitely had opportunities to score. So I think that's a guy you can target if you want to. But I'm going to get into Vince Whaley real quick. Probably the 3rd time you've ever heard that golfer's name in your life. If you watch Saturday and Sunday on your couch at home in the background while you're doing chores or typing up blogs about how terrible Matt Kuchar is as a human. But he's played in 4 events this year. He's got a pair of 16th finishes and a 66 and a 67. And it's important to note, in the 66 and 67, he still shot under par through the entire event. So he's cruising along. And at 7,500, Liam, what is my rule?
Just got to make a cut.
Just got to make the cut. Well, he has only missed one cut since the John Deere Classic, and he's got a runner-up in that stretch. He is doing fine, but most importantly, he plays really well in Mexico. So
there we go. All right, everybody buckle in. I got a lot of information. Daniel Berger is currently ranked 127th on the PGA Tour. Keep in mind that you need to finish a top 125 in order to make it into a lot of like the premier events for next year. So he's got probably about 3 starts max to make it inside that top 25. Otherwise, he's going to look at conditional status.
125. Freddie.
Isn't that what I said?
You said 25 at the end, so.
Oh, my fault. Yeah, top 125. If he doesn't do that, he would basically, it would be one of the crazier fall offs after his injury, in my personal opinion. The last 3 tournaments, he has 8 rounds that would have been spectacular, and the other 4 that basically made it so that his rounds sucked. So he has a chance to do well if he just really pulls 4 rounds together. He is like Patrick Cantlay last summer, where like he would have 3 really good rounds and then 1 crappy round, obviously with just a little less of the upside. Jacob Bridgman, he's actually a really good fit for this course. He's good on birdies or better gained. He's good off the tee. He's good on approach. He's really good when it comes to putting on past Palom. I think he was like 16th in that number, maybe 17th. Overall, he has a lot of things that really help him fit quite well into this course. So Jacob Bridgman at 7,800, I think is a very, very valid option if you don't want to go with Austin Eckroat. He's been playing kind of middling, which doesn't make him super exciting. But he has finished. He's 15th in the field on putting on past Pelham. He's a very good upside play. He's got plenty of distance, and I think could do very well on a course like this, especially considering how he is a legitimate PGA Tour player at a pretty cheap price at 7,800.
That's the standard.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it is. Like, there's just not a lot of, big guys otherwise that could do that. You talked about Neil Shipley, so I won't get into it too much, but just know he's gained an all strokes gained category metrics outside of around the green at Shriners. I'm really not worried about it. So I think he's going to be a very good option this week, if you want to get to him. I will also talk, I think Joe Highsmith's in this range, right? Yeah, 7,400. Joe Highsmith might be a diamond amongst a bunch of turds below 7,500. He has 3 T16 finishes and 4 fall swing starts. He's gained strokes putting in each of his last 2 starts. He looks pretty primed to go on a run. He's got plenty of distance off the tee. He's one of the longer hitters on tour. And again, he's got a solid approach game, not necessarily elite. But again, if his putting has found its form, then I like his chances.
Awesome.
All right, 6K range we go.
One guy I like.
Okay.
Wesley Bryan. Last 3 starts, he's got 21, 37, and 13. He has looked incredible. He's passed the eyeball test, and if you ever look at his stretches outside of the U.S. and resort courses, he does really well. That is all because you know enough about Wesley Bryan unless you live literally under a freaking pebble. Not even a rock, a pebble. So, enough said.
Yeah, it's funny. Wesley Bryan was one of the names I have on here. I said, he is a golfer who is not putrid, so therefore he makes the top of this list. He has 3 straight T37 finishes and has been better off the tee and on approach. Does well outside of America, so that's kind of funny. I'm going to mention it just because he's in the field. Big Rig Higgs is back. I wouldn't recommend going to him, but again, he just kind of love him personally. He is a normal PGA Tour guy who has played a ton of PGA Tour. He finished in top 30 on the Korn Ferry Tour this past season. Legitimate tour player, chance to make a cut is really all you're looking for when it comes to that. The last guy I will mention is not a pretty one, but it is Austin Hitt.
Ooh, little UNC boy.
Yeah, UNC boy. He's been running it up the Korn Ferry Tour right now. It's not pretty, but he had a streak where he had 3 straight top 10 finishes. He finished T33 the Korn Ferry Tour Championship. I wouldn't recommend going to it. He does fit the metrics a lot. He's got plenty of distance, and nobody knows about his putting on past Pelham, but he's got good putting, and he's good on distance. So if you want to get really fancy, 6,300, Austin Hitt is an option, not a good option, but an option.
One thing to note about Austin Hitt is he does have, if this is really sad for anybody, he has the ability to go to 20 under par. So he has done it, I want to say 2 or 3 times in his college career, if I remember correctly, but also has like a finish of like 14 over. I don't know. I don't obviously remember what weather scenarios were like, but I do know he has a couple finishes of 20 under par or better. So
yeah, at the Utah Championship beginning of August, he was minus 21. That was the one where he was.
That doesn't seem like a college tournament.
That is not a college tournament. But that's Korn Ferry Tour, minus 21.
Hooray!
So just to show you that it doesn't just need to be college. So again, he's dangerous game, but if you want to go low in order to get a bunch of guys up top,
yeah,
Austin Hitt. All right, Jack, what do you got for your DraftKings lineup?
I have a little bit of trauma, a little bit of concern, but my lineup is as follows. It is Max Grazerman at 10,400. Okay. I have JJ Spawn at 9K. I have Rico Hoey at 8,200. I have Neil Shipley at 7,700. Vince Whaley 75, and Alex Smalley at 72.
There you go. For my DraftKings lineup, I went with a choice, and it was an interesting option, needless to say. I have Ben Griffin, 9,900, Maverick McNeely, 9,300, Harry Hall, 9,200, Jacob Bridgman, 7,800, Joel Highsmith, 7,400, and then Austin Hitt at 6,300.
In my FanDuel lineup, this is actually surprising to me. I can't believe I did this. This is going to be funny. I have Max Grazerman at 12,000. Hey. I have Lucas Glover at 10,700. I have Cam Young at 11,900. I have Neil Shipley at 9,400. I have Wesley Bryan at 8,300. And I have Austin Hitt at 7,700. I didn't even know I did that.
There you go. You're welcome. Yeah, no, Austin Hitt. Welcome. Well, I talked about him on the pod. Would you have brought up Austin Hitt until now if you didn't realize he was on your FanDuel lineup?
Well, I would have brought him up when I got to this point of the podcast, but
yeah. Well, you're welcome because I brought him up before now.
I was thinking my lineup as you were talking.
Well, that's fair. So no, all right. For my FanDuel lineup, Harry Hall 11,600, Maverick McNeely 11,400, Ben Griffin 11,100. Rico Hoey, 9,900. S.H. Kim, who, again, I didn't really talk about too much, but he is also part of that very good grouping of putters. He was, I think, 8th in putting on Paspalum at 8,200. And then Austin Hitt at 7,700. Cool. All right, how many bets you got this week, Jack? I know it's light.
I have 5.
Okay. What do we got?
And only 1 plus odds because I need to see the field goal through the goalpost. So, number 1, Adam Svensson over Roger Sloan.
Wow.
Enough said. Minus 200. I need to see half a unit come my way. Need to see one go through. If Adam Svensson cannot beat Roger Sloan, then I literally will fly down to the next event to chirp Adam Svensson about this moment. That should be the lock of the century. JJ Spawn top 30 is minus 125. I think that's kind of crazy odds for a guy of this caliber. The game that he's played so far, yeah, he didn't play well in this event last year, but I think that was more of a hitch than anything because I think he's really playing well to the eyeball test. Neil Shipley, top 40, is minus 120. I think that he's had one finish in the John Deere Classic that was outside of top 42, 41, 42. So if you're taking a look at those odds in an event like this, in a field like this, that he should hit this number. Otherwise, we have some serious consequences. Vince Whaley, top 40, minus 110. Jack's eyeball test, I think he looks really good. And I think that he has a lot of capabilities to score a lot better than this. If you take a look at his finishes, obviously he has a couple 16th place finishes, which means he does have the ability to score. And then Wesley Bryan, top 40, plus 125. I think that this is actually a really good spot for Wesley Bryan. We've already talked about him in length on what he can do, especially around Mexico. And his recent stretch of finishes has proven that he is as dominant as a golfer as he was when he first came onto the scene. Little trivia.
Yep. Yeah, I made an adjustment. Jack put 30 in his notes, but
he plus 125.
No. He put in top 30, but he put in top 30, but he meant top 40. So I just switched that over from 3 to a 4. All right, for my bets, I'm doing 4 this week. 2 of them are plus odds, 2 of them are minus odds. The first one's going to be Jacob Bridgman, top 30 at plus 125. Second one is going to be Rico Hoey, top 30 at minus 115. I have Martin Trainer over Paul Barjan at plus 110. And I have Harry Hall over Matthijs Schmidt at minus 105. So overall, I feel pretty good about all of those. Again, I didn't really talk about Martin Trainer either, but he's one of the best putters on Paspalum, which is why I did it. I think he's 6th in my list. Yeah, he's 6th in the rankings. So that is why I like Trainer over Paul Barjan, because Paul Barjan does not make a cut. So that's why I did what I did. All right, we going winners or wild card picks?
Let's go wild card, because mine's disgusting.
Yes.
Tom Hoge to get a hole-in-one is plus 15,000. Ladies and gentlemen, that was nothing more than a bit when I first saw it, and I actually kind of went through the math, and I actually don't. Well, there's no good way to say I like it, but I don't hate it.
Don't tail him. Don't tail him, podcast. No. Just let it ride, and we can all look back at this next week. And if he makes it, then congratulations, Jack. You have the absolute biggest penis in the entire planet for taking that choice. But
no, you're not wrong. But what I wanted to find was just anytime hole-in-one for anybody, and I literally couldn't find it. And then I was looking through other bets, and I'm like, man, Tom Hoge's irons have been really terrible, which means he's going to be aiming for the middle of the green to give himself birdie opportunities, which means he's probably going to hit one close to the hole. And when Tom Hoge hits a hole-in-one and I go plus 15,000 on the odds, you can come back in here, bow on the floor, and kiss my feet. Let's just put it that way.
All right. If he hits it, congratulations. You just hit the craziest bet of your entire life. But yeah. We'll go with it. For my wild card, I have Matthijs Schmidt to miss the cut, which I know is an aggressive take, but again, he is one of the worst in the field when it comes to putting, especially on Paspalum. So I am taking that kind of to the extreme this week, and Matthijs Schmidt miscut is my route.
Love it.
All right, winners. Who you got?
JJ Spawn. Yes, I know that is shocking. Taking a look at the schedule this year and the trajectory in which he's playing, I think right now he is one of the guys that I'm really taking a look for in terms of value. Max Grazerman probably would have been my selection, but something in Jack's soul was saying that I don't think he's going to contend. And I don't know why, because I think he's probably the best golfer, at least on momentum in this field, by 40 spots. But I really like JJ Spawn. I really like the scoring metrics that he's done. I think he can capitalize on that, and he's not making a ton of mistakes. And then Vince Whaley, I just take a look at what he's done scoring wise, and I take a look at what he's done in Mexico. And I think for him, it could be an opportunity to finish on the leaderboard. I don't know if he's going to win, but I also don't have any confidence in anybody below like the 6th guy to really contend and win. So I'm not wasting a guy.
I'll say this. Outside of Scotty Scheffler, when was the last time that a person who was basically ranked number 1 in the field like won the event? It doesn't happen very often. Maybe once or twice a year. Again, not named Scotty Scheffler.
Last week.
Again, not named Scotty Scheffler. It happens like once or twice a year. So keep that in mind. And that is why
one more time, because that's not landing for me.
When a golfer ranked number 1 in a field is not likely to win that event very often if they're not named Scotty Scheffler. So like the best player in the field does not usually win a golf tournament most weeks.
That would make sense.
Okay, yeah. All right, there we go.
Just weird way to go about that.
Well, I wanted to reiterate that like Scotty Scheffler's the unicorn in that instance because like he won like 7 times last year, being the number 1 ranked golfer in the field.
Taking a mile to go before Tiger Woods. We're taking a look at wins and seasons, but you know.
All right. The Tiger glazing happened at the start of the episode. We'll get you out of here in about 30 seconds. My winners, I've already discussed both of them, Rico Hoey and Daniel Berger. I think they both have a chance this week, and I'm not likely to use them any other week. So therefore, they're in play for me this week. I think Rico Hoey's in good form, so that's a good option. Daniel Berger is kind of on the up and up, and hopefully I catch him early and he pulls out a win. That's basically it. So, all right, with that, that is the Worldwide Technology Championship. Next week, Butterfield, Bermuda. We're all set. Last year's winner, Camilo Villegas. That'll be crazy. No. All right, we'll leave you guys there. Don't bet too much this week. Oh, maybe we won't.
3 weeks before the Hero.
Yes.
You know who's probably going to play at the Hero?
Scotty Scheffler.
No, he actually didn't join.
Really?
Yep.
Justin Thomas.
Well, who's best friends with Justin Thomas?
Jordan Spieth.
No. Who's Justin Thomas's mentor?
That's a good question. I don't know. You guys can think on that. Let us know in the comments.
And then Tiger Mother.
I know. I'm messing with you. All right, guys. We're going to leave you there. We know this podcast already ran long as it is. Jack's going to continue to talk about his dad. But don't bet too much this week. This is not the week to get all of your bets down because, again, it's a crazy field. So save it up maybe for the Hero. Who knows? We may or may not see some half-decent golfers, maybe some recognizable golfers in that field. But save it up for there. So we'll leave you to it. Have a good one. Deuces.